Let's see what we got. Wish there was a way to tell what I did before. Oh, right.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I was out for a little longer than I expected.
And I'm not sure, but I think the game didn't save, or I forgot to save. Crap. Yeah, I think I remember this mission. Yep. Crap. I have the link to the stream posted on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely remember already doing this mission and having some champion levels. But apparently the game didn't want to remember that. Either that or I forgot to save. Hold on a sec.
I have no idea where you are because I was only half paying attention last time anyways.
Oh, God.
There's also apparently a 3-second delay between the actual stream and, you know, the actions.
Yep. I noticed that too when I streamed Batman last time.
Eh.
Thank you, Kyoko. For now, I'm going to take on another side quest. Not after the last few times you tried to poison me. There's actually an interesting reason as to why her coffee is so experimental. So the question is, do you care for spoilers?
I don't. You can explain it if you want. I don't care.
And it has to do with the second half of this game.
Okay.
So after 10 chapters, you end up having to get into a plot involving the this group of Digimon called the Royal Knights, which are basically a group of knight-like Digimon. Hence the title. And apparently, a couple of the Royal Knights are already present throughout the first half of the game. However, one of them however, two of them are in disguise. One of them has kind of, forgotten what they were doing there. Imagine that.
Forgetting to save or losing a save has literally made me stop playing games at times. So, like, I've gotten so far, and it's like...
But in the end, it didn't even matter.
I didn't say I got so far. Well, I didn't say I tried so hard and I got so far, and in the end, it didn't matter, no. No, it's just you get so far and then everything just falls apart, and there's something demoralizing about that. I haven't done that often, but I've done that a couple of times.
I can imagine.
Like, I come back to it usually, but I usually wind up having to take a little break.
The Wii cannot tell me what to do. I get it. You want me to try and take a break, but my response is, I can take a break whenever or whenever I feel like it. I will take a break when I am good and ready.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Twitter's been fun.
Yes, it has.
I saw you arguing with a bunch of peeps about the Dragon Ball anime, and I'm like, oh boy, are these idiots still bothering you?
Yes, apparently they are.
All just because they only like the Japanese version, and I'm like, guys, we know...
Did you even read the part where I said, I can't stand the anime?
Yes, I did read that part. You said you didn't like the anime, you prefer the manga.
Yeah, I was referring to them. And it was like, who's doing this? And I'm just like, I don't like it. Take a seat, please.
Funny enough, Digimon did originate from a manga, though that was a manga that never got released in the U.S. called V-Tamer. I believe we had this.
Yeah, that was a manga that was based on the
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, the male version of Tamagotchi. Yeah.
And
Or the male-marketed version.
essentially it was like... So, you ever seen the protagonist of Digimon named Taichi?
I think so.
He's the guy with brunette spiky hair. And
Yes.
and in the dub is apparently voiced by actor Joshua Seth, whom I mentioned became a hypnotist after he retired from voice acting.
Yeah.
It still weirds me out to this day.
I can't remember. Did I tell you what happened to the original suit actor for Barney?
I think you did, but for reference sake, what happened?
He became a tantric sex guru.
Oh, now I remember. Hello, inconspicuous this person. I swear, it's like the localization in this is occasionally good, but at the same time... how do you feel about grammatical and spelling errors?
I tried them with every part of my grammar Nazi soul.
These people need Grammarly.
Okay. Jesus, this is a professional product that people charged money for.
Yep.
That's inexcusable. This isn't like.
Although there are memes in this localization.
I was.
There's like
I've been trying to get in as a copy editor or in anything like this. Like I point all this stuff out, and I have never gotten an offer. It was like, hey, do you want to proofread our stuff and we'll pay you? It was like nobody ever seems to want to have like the guy who does the proofreading on your scripts. They just want to shove it out there.
They just want to shove it out there, rush it as hastily as humanly possible. Alright, let's go see Mirai, which... There are a couple other Sword Art Online actors, like Mirai is voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro, who is Sinon. And I'm like, she's good as a lot of things. Asada is not one of them. Her Asada sounds kind of bored.
You know, that's another reason why dubs are good, because if the original is bad, you can get something else.
At least, and if nothing else, the dub does have those funny outtakes. Now, it's not enough that I have to report to her. Or no, I gotta go back to HQ. Whoop! Yes, I have been working hard for the lady. Oh, lovely. We got another one. Remind me, what was the story again?
Of what specifically?
Exactly. This is kind of what I mean by side quests galore. It's like, what even is the story at this point when you're just doing all this? Have you ever heard of the Metroid 2 remake called AM2R?
Yep.
I want to download that and play it so bad. But I don't know how to really hook up a PlayStation 4 controller to play it. It looks so good.
I can't remember how I did it, because I had a GameStop PS3 controller that I used for my computer. And then I had a regular DualShock 3 after that. Funny thing, it still works fine, I still use it, it just stopped working on my computer. Then I had a regular DualShock 3 that I used for it, and...
yeah?
Then I used the DualShock 4 for a while, and then... I don't remember why, but I got an Xbox One controller. I think it was just easier because a lot of games had to have some kind of workaround to make the PS4, make the DualShock 4 actually work with it.
Right. Pew! I find it funny that Salomon's Japanese name is Plotmon.
Well, it depends on what you mean by plot. I don't think that dog-looking creature has either of what you would refer to as plot.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to that kind of plot later on.
Interesting.
In terms of the evolutionary line, definitely. Because...
At first you had my interest, now you have my erection.
Don't you mean attention?
You know what I said!
No, it's the joke. Oh, Gohan asks, don't you mean attention? And then Cell's like, you know what I'm about.
I missed that last little word. I remembered part of it, but I couldn't remember if it was... The problem is, Alucard and Cell's voices are so close that they blur together in my head, and I can't remember who says what.
That's sadly kind of what takes what makes it that. That's sadly what kind of makes me feel like Curtis is not exactly the best voice of Cell, in my opinion, because it's like the first two voices, they're fine, but then we get to Perfect Cell, you might as well just have Alucard be in there, because that's kind of
first sounds like this,
and then the second sounds like this. Yes, and it sounds...
Then you have literally just Alucard.
yeah.
It's not quite nearly as bombastic as Alucard, but it is very, very close. And funny enough, this is actually the exact same voice I used for Gedo Akari in NGE Alternative Saga.
I remember that. You know, with all your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
Is that from, like, the Captain Planet thing, or is there a joke from an abridged thing that I can't remember?
No, it is from Captain Planet. There's no joke.
Okay.
You know, the weird thing is like, before Digimon Adventure Tri, Vic did voice in Digimon. He was, Kiriha Aonuma, or as the dub called him, Christopher Aonuma. And he was also Leomon.
Okay.
Somehow that Leomon doesn't have an on-screen death. Because in the Digimon franchise, Leomon is the Kenny of the Digimon franchise.
Oh no, you killed Leomon, you bastard!
And I do believe your favorite voice, Bryce Papenbrook, was also in Digimon on Cross Wars dub as Coronamon. No, he has nothing to do with that stupid virus that's somehow super mimetic.
Fairmon, Coronamon, yep.
And his dad used to be in Digimon.
Yeah, I remember Bob Papenbrook was in quite a few things, actually.
Yep.
Let's see. Bob Papenbrook. I know him mainly from Power Rangers, but... Oh, he was also in Cyborg 009.
I've actually seen that show back when it was airing on Toonami. Joshua Seth was also in it as 009.
Oh, he played 009? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and let me think, what else? And 009 was also voiced by Johnny Young Bosch in these 009 crossover with Devilman. Don't ask why that's a thing. And the CGI 009 movie had Jason Griffith for some reason voicing 009.
Mamoru Miyano? Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
You know, Mamoru Miyano is a guy who I took one look at his filmography and I thought, well, that explains so much about his performance in Death Note. Because he played Light Yagami in Death Note, and he was...
Oh, and he's also in Durarara as Masaomi Kita, who's dubbed over by Bryce.
Yeah, I can't say Durarara anyway, but saying it Durarara, because if I do, it doesn't sound right to me.
That show's dub is godlike.
Yeah. But, Mamoru Miyano was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 separate series in 2006.
Oh, jeez.
And I was immediately thinking, well, damn, that's why he sounds overworked and bored.
Oh, God. I think that probably could explain why I'm not a big fan of Yuki Kaji, because he's in literally everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. How many characters have the exact same voice?
People complain all the time about how Western dubs have, like, the same handful of voice actors. And then you look at stuff like this.
How many times is Takahito Koyasu the villain? How many times...
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
All I have to ask is, if you're in as many shows as this guy is, how the actual hell do you not have voices run into each other?
That is a good question. Now let's see what Biyomon digivolves into.
Because...
Kabuterimon.
Even like the Men of 1,000 Voices, like, what's his name? Frank Welker, Chris Sabat.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Mel Blanc.
Whom inspired Kyle Bear.
Yeah. Yeah, guys like that. Even guys like me, who do a lot of different voices. You've obviously got, like, Takahata 101
and Kermit the Frog here.
There's a limit to the amount of times that you can... to the amount of voices that one person can do. And you can't just play like 100, 200 characters and not have stuff run into each other like that.
I wonder if anyone ever told Chris Sabat that when he was doing the original dub of Dragon Ball. We'll see. How many characters does he voice?
Okay, let's see here. Popo, Yamcha,
Vegeta, Piccolo.
Piccolo, Kami, Guru.
Oh, so he calls himself God now? Nail. From henceforth, I shall be known as Super Kami.
Yes, Super Kami.
No, wait. Super Kami Guru?
Can I just call you Guru?
Super Kami Guru allows this.
It's like, I've spent quite a bit of time even imitating Curtis Arnott's voice. And I even got to meet him at Kineticon with my Alucard cosplay.
Oh, nice.
He
Let's
liked
see
it.
here. Yamcha, Kami, Piccolo, King Piccolo, Gohan, Korin. You played Korin? I didn't know that. Popo, Officer Black, Blackface, Colonel Silver.
Wasn't he
Shenron,
General Black in Dragon Ball?
Officer Black.
Oh,
I
alright.
confused him with Colonel Silver, sorry.
Wasn't he also
Vegeta,
General
Yamcha.
Blue?
No. Zarbon, Raccoon, Jace, Birder, Salza, Vegito, Gogeta, Omega Shenron, the Ox King, Koronga.
Wasn't Ox King later voiced by Kyle A. Bear?
Let's see. Where's that? Animation dub. Mark Britton in the original dub from 68 to 194. Kylie Bear in Dragon Ball and 195 to 291. Oh, apparently also Kyle from 1 through 67.
Oh my.
And then, let's see here.
You know, the sad thing is, when I first heard of, like, a bridge Dragon Ball all through pre-TFS's abridged
Sabbath,
movies.
Hang on. Sabbath played Cell in Supersonic Warriors 2.
What gives? They couldn't get Damian Clark for that?
Apparently not.
Oh, God. You know, they had Travis Willingham voice Cell in Dragon Ball Raging Blast and most of the video games until Dragon Ball Xenoverse, when Damien was brought back to voice the character.
Yeah.
And it's weird hearing Roy Mustang as Cell.
I bet you it is.
It really is.
You want to know who the cast of Dragon Ball was in the Dragon Ball Evolution game?
Yuri Lowenthal was Goku in that.
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal was Goku, and Travis Willingham was Yamcha. Cam Clark, the voice of Liquid Snake, played King Piccolo.
Fun fact, and funny enough, Cam Clark's going to Kineticon this year.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to get him to sign my JoJo Blu-ray, because he voices
Sweet.
Darby, the older one with the poker game.
Now, funny thing, Kate Higgins played Bulma in Dragon Ball Evolution, and she also played Sailor Mercury in the Viz dub of Sailor Moon.
She really likes playing that character.
Yeah. And guess who originally played that?
Who?
Aya Hisakawa, Hiromi Suru's replacement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would
That's...
have been nice to have Kate Higgins voice Bulma instead of who we got after Tiffany Bulmer.
Don't get me fucking started.
It's like all she can. It's like...
Oh yeah, real quick, there's also still voice samples of Sean Schemmel in Dragon Ball Evolution because it was from one of the, it was taken from the Shin Budokai engine.
Why am I not surprised? Considering that it blatantly looks like Shin Budokai.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm
Go
like,
on.
this is basically one-to-one a Shin Budokai game, but using a different... and, using the live-action characters. And funny enough, Yuri Lowenthal did voice a character from Sayuri by the name of Sun Wukong.
Oh, nice.
This was something I found out from the Digimon voice acting videos that Chris Niosi used to do on YouTube.
Okay. I'm looking at Cyborg 009, and these guys get recast more than the cast of a Capcom game.
Yeah.
Because you've got the original 1966 film, then you have the 1980 film, and there was no dub for the original, but I don't think anybody from the original came back to play the... Oh, except for Professor Gilmore. Professor Gilmore was played by the same guy.
Interesting.
But, Huh. Okay, so the voice of 002 from the 66 film became the narrator. And just about everybody else except for Gilmore was recast. And then along comes the 2012 film, which has, again, a completely different cast.
Why am I not surprised?
And then the 2016 film, which again has a completely different cast, and that's in both...
Nope.
Everything from like 80 to 2016 all has a completely different cast. Well, except for the fact that Patrick Sates, who played 005 in the 2005 film, goes on to play the Emperor in the 2016 films.
You know, some part of me wants to like stream Symphony of the Night on here just because, you know, I thought that would be interesting. But here's the thing, the PS4 version of the game is literally the PSP version.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, you could always turn off the voice acting.
I could, but nah. I wouldn't do that. Besides, I love David Vincent as Richter Belmont. And Patrick Seitz as Dracula. And say what you will about Yuri Lowenthal, but I do enjoy his Alucard. It at least has better sound quality than Robert Belgrade's Booth. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I would love to be on the same page with you as Belgrade, but his mic, or whatever he's doing with that, it still sounds so bad. Like, have
Honestly,
you seen Bloodstain?
I went back and listened to that again, and yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's some weird stuff going on with the original Symphony.
Like, I wouldn't mind it so much if it wasn't if it wasn't really a big deal. Oh, I wouldn't mind. But the thing is, like, everybody seems to have a weird issue with their microphone.
Well, back in the 90s when that was recorded, they probably wound up, I don't know, recording it in some kind of converted apartment without a whole lot of good soundproofing.
And
Metal Gear
Belgrade
Solid.
was the only decent sounding person because, you know, he at least can act. It's just, it's still that quality of his mic.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed
original...
since the 90s. That's the worst part. If you see Bloodstain in his character, it's the exact same microphone.
What the hell?
Yes! And that game has, like a bunch of really good voice actors, like Erica Lindbeck, Ben Diskin, and David friggin' Hayter is in that. And several others. I'm not kidding. David Hayter is in that game.
I knew that. Let me...
Excuse me for a minute. I need to use the restroom.
Okay. That's odd. I mean, that's really strange. Let's see here, I can't... He was the Tekken announcer. He was Optimus Prime in the 2003 Transformers game. I was in the original Star Ocean. Excuse me. Soul Blade. Excuse me. Shenmue, Sky Odyssey. Ugh.
Sorry about that.
So, have you played Silent Hill 4?
I have never touched a Silent Hill game.
Okay, have you played the Tekken games?
I have played a bit of them in the arcade, and I have played,
Okay. Have you played the original Shenmue?
I've never played Shenmue.
Okay. I'm just gonna list out the stuff that he's been in. And have you played the 2003 Transformers game? Call of the Future, the Japanese one.
No.
Okay. Lunar Knights?
Nope.
Tekken 5?
I don't know which Tekken I played in the arcade.
Okay. Way of the Samurai 2?
Nope.
Mega Man X7?
I have touched a bit of that, and I know he's in that game.
Okay. Sylphid?
Nope.
Dynasty Warriors 2?
I have not played a Dynasty Warriors game with the exception of Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors.
Soul Blade?
Nope.
Original Star Ocean?
Negative.
Decathlete?
Nope.
The Outfoxies?
That'd be a negative.
Okay.
There are...
Because
You're listing a lot of things that I have never heard of.
I'm listing a lot of things I've never heard of. I was just trying to find something in there. You know, don't... He's a musician. Don't musicians usually have, like, a home studio with, you know, a microphone that isn't a piece of shit?
Yeah, they should, but apparently he's still using that same microphone.
That, I don't... Did they purposefully try and get that same thing going with him, or what?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It's like, look at the... listen to the voice of the character he plays in that game, and it's literally the exact same kind of voice you'd hear for Alucard in the original dub of Symphony of the Night.
Right.
And, you know... Oh, the the dub that was recorded for the 2007 version of Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night was done for the PSP game Dracula X Chronicles, which is a 2.5D remake of Rondo of Blood.
Man, that 2.5D thing, first off, the textures are all so washed out. And second, the whole thing just kind of looks like a mess, you know?
Still actually has actual, you know, music that doesn't have that weird looping problem.
Yeah.
That was the issue. That was one of the biggest issues I had with Rondo of Blood, besides some of its soundtrack sounding very
Honestly, my biggest problem with the Dracula X remake is that I just don't like the controls. And
it's a classic Vania game.
yeah, and I really wish that they would just do stuff like, oh, I don't know, well, maybe make the controls a little bit smoother so the game's not quite as bullshit.
What, you mean like Super Castlevania 4?
Yes!
Well, they...
maybe design the entire game around that.
Well, you'd have to ask the same thing of the original Rondo of Blood.
Good! I've been wondering about that for a very long time, why they went back to that after they... They so incredibly improved it, and you know, you could have made so much out of a control system like that. But I don't
Konami
think
doesn't know what this thing called thinking is.
No, they don't. And I think that the only game that's really achieved that is like what, the original, like the Devil May Cry games.
Mm-hmm.
Because those have like that free roamy, the free shooty ability, things like that. That slash in every direction, shoot in every direction, do all kinds of stuff.
Juggle enemies with your shotgun. I'm still waiting for someone to attempt that. And, speaking of Castlevania, the Netflix Season 3 ended up premiering last week.
I kind of saw that. That was one of the biggest wastes of time that I've ever heard of.
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it's a collection of original content, you know?
I think they're just like doing a two-part attempt at an adaptation of Curse of Darkness, since, you know, that's immediately after Castlevania 3.
Well, didn't they already do that, though?
Not really, no. Oh, Season 1 and 2 was an adaptation of Castlevania 3. Curse of Darkness takes place immediately after.
Okay.
Alright.
Well, the thing is that there was a lot of original filler in there. And it just seems kind of odd, considering Netflix has this habit of canceling things after, what, 3 seasons at most? I think the only one that's really gotten anywhere near that is Stranger Things. I think Stranger Things has like 4 seasons.
Yeah, they have 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, with Season 3, I found it interesting how they could just, like, everything seemed all hunky-dory after Season 2, except for when Hector gets, well, utterly gutted by Carmilla. Whom, any thoughts on her character?
I haven't actually watched it. I just heard about a lot of the stuff they did in it, and it sounded like it was a pretty bad idea. But
it's actually really good. Sorry, I'm still such a big sucker for the series.
No, it's got great animation. It's a really
Great
cool
animation,
idea. I like it.
actually pretty good writing, and courtesy of Warren Ellis.
Isn't that the guy who said he'd never actually played a Castlevania game?
Evidently, but somehow, even though he's actually written the characters fairly well, it's like, how does this man who has never played a Castlevania game, as you cited, it somehow have this grasp on the characters of this game franchise?
I mean, you know, you can figure out a lot from looking stuff up, honestly. But I guess it kind of seemed like, and I'm not really a big fan of the Alucard episode personally, because it seems like it was a big waste of time just for the sake of putting that on the screen, you know. And
Alucard was still kind of funny. Please, this isn't a bar fight. Have some class.
Well, you know what Alucard episode I'm talking about.
What, episode 4? Are we talking episode 1 of season 3?
Season 3, whatever the one where he gets raped is.
Oh, that's episode 9, where he nearly gets raped by the by those two Japanese twinks.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the Japanese chick is played by the same person who plays Yukio in the Wolverine movie.
Huh.
The second Wolverine movie. You know, the one where he goes to Japan.
Right. The Wolverine, not the Origins Wolverine.
Oh, God. Let's not think about that movie. I know a friend who has that as one of his personal guilty pleasures, but
I mean, I'm like it. It's not a bad movie.
I'm like, I want to say that you have a point, but I can't help but not like it.
Well, the problem is they kind of completely fucked up Deadpool.
And then Ryan Reynolds unscrewed Deadpool in the movie.
Let's see, how long ago was Origins Wolverine?
2009, so 11 years ago.
Okay, and Deadpool came out in 2016, right?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah. So Ryan Reynolds spent the next 7 years trying to unfuck Deadpool.
Yep. And his whole career by extension.
Yeah.
Because for a while I had this major hate boner for the guy.
Well, he was in Origins Wolverine, then he was in Green Lantern, and he was in a bunch of...
Oh, God, I remember seeing that movie with my dad. We both ended up hating it afterwards.
You know, funny thing, that's one of the few DC movies I don't have. I don't have that, Catwoman, Superman...
Why would you want Catwoman?
So, actually, yes, I do have Catwoman. I just remembered I do have Catwoman. So I don't have that. I don't have Superman 3, the Lester cut of Superman 2.
Fun fact, Halle Berry, the star of the Catwoman movie, was the only actress that, as far as I know, boldly accepted her Razzie.
Oh, yeah. No, I would have done the same thing in her shoes.
She's like, thank you for starring me in this piece of crap.
Yeah.
Oh
man, that was such a weird movie. Like,
me and my mom both hate that movie with a burning passion.
Yeah, that is the definition of a movie that has spent way too long in development hell, and now they just can't figure out what to do with it. They've done so much with it, and like they've passed the concept around for so long, and now it's just fuck. It's so fucked up. You gotta... You would have been better starting over than trying to work from where you were.
You know, someone actually tried to point out, like, that... You remember the villain from the first Full Metal Alchemist anime who isn't in the guy that looks like Hohenheim?
Kind of, yeah. It's been quite a while.
So, someone had said to... had tried to say, like, oh, even Dante as an old woman was voiced by Monica, which that isn't the case at all. She was voiced by somebody else. Monica voices the body the younger body that she ended up inhabiting for the rest of the show. Fitting casting a bitch as a bitch. Yeah. Okay, this is one of those localization examples I was talking about.
Yeah.
What is this?
If it involves connect jumping, it's okay. I've dealt with this kind of thing before. What?
I would like to know what... I would like to know who in the localization department thought that it was a good idea to leave that in. Suddenly, a Gallandon has experienced the blue screen of death.
Could you not have put that all on one line? What even is the second option?
I don't know.
What's it supposed to be? Holy shit!
I don't know, because I don't have the Japanese version for reference.
Oh my god.
So to get off topic on that, have you ever heard of Dragon Ball YouTuber Mystery Fusion?
No.
He basically has a whole very long series is going on about him talking about Dragon Ball, basically going over the various things about the manga and also the anime in the chronological order it was released. So whenever he gets to a point in the manga when a movie comes out, he'll talk about the movie next.
Okay.
Give it a look-see and tell me what you think. Because let's just say he brings up a lot of interesting points that not a lot of people ever really considered.
Okay.
Oh, there's the Meramon. How's it going, bud? What you looking at? Uh-oh. Yay! get to the plot.
Ah, yes, I see plot.
Right. Alright. Anyway, schmoes want my account. You know, the funny thing is, like, most of the time whenever there's, like, a Digimon out there, there's always, like, a darker version of said Digimon.
Uh-huh.
And this game actually had some DLC, but they were all free.
Huh.
We had some pre-order DLC that included, the darker versions of Greymon and the Garurumon line, which also included their evolution in up to Omnimon. Or I'm sorry, as Sunny would say, as Sunny would point out, Omegamon. Because he's supposed to be the companion to Alphamon. And their names are supposed to be like a play on Alpha and Omega.
Okay.
Yeah, I find it weird that the entirety of the official Nintendo Metroid 2 remake, Metroid Samus Returns, feels like this was Sakamoto trying to prove that he can write his characters.
Is that the same guy who wrote...
Sadly, yes, he did Other M.
Oh, fucking damn it.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, Sakamoto has been a part of the Metroid franchise since, I think since the first game, but I wouldn't really know. But then again, I never played original Metroid 1, because why would you when Zero Mission makes it completely obsolete?
Yeah, the original is, janky as fuck, I believe is the technical term.
Yep. Oh, God. And you know, some people on a Twitter or chat at thing that I'm in the I Stand With Vic chat, and end up being like, hey, isn't there rumors that Funimation's trying to get money out of people, or they're trying to get people to sign up for their subscription in through the Hiroaka movie? And I'm like, I had proof of that. Because the guys at the movie theater gave me that after I got my tickets.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a rumor. That actually happened. That was a real thing.
And I tore apart my things that I'm like, you know what? This is gonna be proof that that after Hiroaka Season 4, I'm done with Funimation.
You know, I would have just stood up there, showed him my left wrist, and then turned the wristband around.
But I think the movie theaters are mostly neutral, not Now you know. Yeah, they're
If it was a Funimation employee handing it out, you know.
Yeah, then... And that's fine.
Otherwise, they're just gonna look at me like, what the hell are you doing?
They're gonna be like, why are you doing that?
Like, that's weird, bro. What you doing?
And I swear, if the MCU Fantastic Four movie ends up being garbage, I will go through with my promise, and we will find a place to go get a drink and talk about it.
Yeah. We'll have to find a copy of the first of, like, the Roger Corman movie and the first Tim Story movie, because I only have Four Stick and Rise of the Silver Surfer. But we'll watch them all and we'll see how they compare.
Why do you even have any of those movies? That's what I'm wondering. Why, especially Four Stick? Okay,
allow me to explain, because this is a complicated story. It's not actually that complicated, this story, it's just kind of weird. Somehow my mother won, like, a pre-release copy of Four Stick, and we watched it, and that was the first movie I'd ever watched on Blu-ray. I hooked up my PS4 just to watch it. I mean, I already knew it was garbage, but I figured it might not be that bad. But,
Did you know Dan Castellaneta was in that movie?
Yes, I did.
Why?
I was wondering why did they pull him out of his Simpsons money pit just to put him in that piece of shit? And I have the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I saw both Rise of the Silver Surfer and Four Stick in theaters. The thing is,
why?
Because my little sister, or for some reason, likes crap.
Okay. Well, anyways, I have Rise of the Silver Surfer because, let's see, I think it was one of those times when the library was at their book sale. They had, like, buy a bag for $2 and fit however much you want into it. So I just threw that in there because I'd never seen it. I still haven't seen it, but I have a copy of it now that
it sucks.
To hell.
It sucks. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, I figured.
I have seen that movie in theaters. It sucks.
That was one of those movies where they just kind of... What they were trying to do was set up a bunch of shit for the...
For some reason, Lawrence Fishburne was the voice of Silver Surfer.
Lawrence Fishburne played the Silver Surfer, and they got, what's his name, that guy who plays all the monsters to play the body. Doug Jones, I think is his name.
You know, funny enough, Doug Jones actually did, what's his face from Hellboy? You know, crap, I'm forgetting his name. The fish guy.
Oh, he was Joey in Men in Black 2. And he was Abe Sapien?
Yeah, Abe, that's his name. That's...
Okay.
He was... At first he was the body actor for Abe, and then, someone else provided the voice for the character, but then Hellboy 2 came around.
David Hyde Pierce.
But then David Hyde Pierce felt that Doug Jones' performance in Hellboy 2 was actually better, so he's like, you know what, I don't need to dub over this one. You're fine.
Well, he also played Abe in Sword of Storms and Blood and Iron.
Considering that they were on a bit of a high with that franchise up until Dark Knight and Iron Man beat the crap out of it in the box office. They picked terrible timing for both of those movies. Hellboy 1 came out same year as Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man kicked the crap out of Hellboy in that one.
Let's see here, 2004, yeah. And let's see what else was 2004.
And then Hellboy 2 came out same year as Iron Man and The Dark Knight.
Okay, so as far as superhero / comic book movies go, there was Spider-Man 2 and The Incredibles. There was also Shrek 2, Prisoner of Azkaban, Day After Tomorrow.
I saw a large portion of Day After Tomorrow in a science class, and
it was one of those things that they showed at you to show you what was wrong with it, right?
Yeah. No. Actually, it was like to educate us on like global warming and whatnot.
Okay. Because I was gonna say
that seemed a little unrealistic of an example.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say because The Day After Tomorrow is one of those films. It's like Armageddon. They use it in like government classes to show you what's wrong. And they have that as like a test. You have to point out certain things.
Yeah. And it's like we watched up to when New York got frozen in that movie. Oh, come on. Hold on one sec. What do I have to pull out just to get this wall out of the way?
You know, you've seen the Kylo Ren Batmobile. Get ready for the Darth Vader box truck.
I'm trying to figure out what type of Digimon I need to crack this wall.
This is something from Japan. It's a box truck that has Darth Vader's face, or his helmet rather, as the cab, Star Wars on the thing above, and then it has the posters for all 6 of the original saga on the side with Vader in front.
I need 4 more Digimon in my party just to make this work.
I hate arbitrary flag gameplay like that, where you have to go and get something specific to do it, when you could just potentially attempt with what you've got. They could have like, hey, you know, this might not turn out well if you don't go get the thing.
Alright. Well, at least all I need is to crack the firewall, then I could go... reset my party. Okay. Let's digivolve you into Gatomon. Oh my word. So basically the firewall thing is mostly dependent on what type of Digimon, or rather, how many Digimon do you have and what level are they at? It's dumb. It's really, really dumb. Do you come here often? I'm like, by the way, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, just making sure. So, apparently... apparently the dialogue for... when talking about how the protagonist, which some of them can be awfully flirtatious at times, does not change whether you are male or female.
Huh.
So that has some odd implications. Like, is everybody in this game secretly bisexual? I kind of have Falcomon instead of Kabuterimon, or instead of like Greymon, since I felt like getting a bird or Digimon in my party that is in Biomon. So now we're in Kowloon level 3, where data Digimon start becoming a lot more frequent.
Okay.
Which is problematic because I have a lot of vaccine types. And I need virus types. See, like that toy Agumon right there. Or, no wait, that's Patamon is the data type. Will-O-Wisp or Foxtail Inferno in the dub. Yes, they changed the names of a lot of things. Ninja. Knuckles the Echidna in Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles. That is literally the meme page for the Sonic the Hedgehog memes on TV Tropes. Rather, the page image. Cubimon's tails are clipping through the stairs. And I am now perpetually reminded of the NPCs from SAO Bridge that apparently...
We must save my family!
Move! The bandits are coming!
Hey, buddy, you're the one who left us there to die!
We must save my family! Hey, Gary.
Thank you, I couldn't remember his name.
So the original voice so the three voices for SAO the voices for SAO that are in this game are Yoshitsugu Matsuoka, Kanea Ito, at the aforementioned Miyuki Sawashiro, Haruka Tatsumoto, or Tamatsu, oh my bad, and Ayana Taketatsu.
Okay.
So, and respectively they are Kirito, Yui, Sinon, Asuna, and Lifa.
Considering that I only ever watched the dub after, like, the first couple of episodes, I have no idea who any of those people are.
Right. Sadly, I've had to get acquainted with most of their voices due to the fact that, remember, this game never got dubbed.
Yeah.
Digimon World Next Order did get dubbed, and they were doing a weird thing with the pronunciation of a specific type of Digimon known as a Dramon. They pronounce it as Draymon. You want to know what also came out during that same year?
What?
Persona 5, where they had a weird thing where they'd pronounce the these names a bit peculiarly. like pronouncing Sakamoto as Sakamoto.
Okay.
It was weird. It was so weird. Like, that's the one thing I will never find. Like, every other, most other dubs of stuff pronounce Sakamoto pretty good. This one does not.
Sakamoto. Just, did the director not understand anything about Japanese?
Strangely enough, this was the same ADR director that did all the Persona 4 stuff after Persona 4 Arena.
And that was all fine, right?
It was okay.
Okay is fine. You know, if it's not blatantly incorrect. Yeah.
And that dub also, sadly, had DC Douglas in his most fitting role as a creepy gym teacher who likes to prey on high school girls.
Oh, DC Douglas is in that.
Yep. He played the first target of the game, Imsuguru Kamoshida.
You see that people are now talking about stuff that he's done?
Yep. And I'm like,
it was about fucking time.
Oh dear. I'm like, I may not be for canceling someone, but it's about time someone actually addresses this hypocrisy.
Listen, if it gets him out and gets Richard Waff back, I'm fine with it.
Don't forget that Wesker is currently dead.
He'll be back eventually. He always comes back in some way.
How does he come back from being dropped in lava and exploded by a pair of bazookas?
Clones.
Isn't that what Troy Baker's character in RE6 is supposed to be?
No, that's his biological son.
I know it. I know that.
And now his daughters are going to be in the Resident Evil TV series, and I'm like, you know, I could buy him potentially doing it once. I can't imagine him being able to do it more than once.
Considering how much of a manipulative sociopath he is.
I mean, what? Did he like... Did he make test tube babies or something?
Probably. That seems like a more likely scenario. So now, instead of proceeding with the plot, we now have to go... find a way to get this hacker laid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Seriously, how do people keep calling this line? Or Kinkai. And you'll never believe this. Out of the entire voice cast in this game, we have Norio Wakamoto in it.
I feel like I should know who that is.
The biggest internet meme of Japanese voice actors.
I'm drawing a complete blank. Sorry, man.
He's the Japanese version of Alexander Anderson in Hellsing Ultimate, and also the Japanese version of Charles Z. Britannia. And the guy...
Okay.
And the guy infamous for the Watashi wa Shiren Shirenzu in the Captain Falcon anime.
Okay, I thought... if you asked me what the biggest meme in Japanese anime it was, I thought it would be...
Nani? Then the guy just flat out explodes. I hate that screech noise, though.
Yeah, it's weird.
And now... And now I'm trying to wonder what I'm supposed to do next.
Well, I wonder where am I going next?
What song are you singing?
I think it's We're at the Book of Love. I can't remember. Something my dad said.
You know, effort. You know, when I was first... You know, when I was first, doing... When I was going through the internet to see what was new on YouTube, I was like, so I looked through my subscriptions. I see Studio Uraki uploaded a cover for Bleach's first OP, the Asterisk, and it's still a headbanger. Even in English, it's still quite the headbanger. I have never seen an episode of Bleach, but I love Asterisk by Orange Range.
I've seen quite a few episodes of Bleach. I've read quite a bit of Bleach. I kind of gave up on Bleach.
You know, one thing that's one anime I also remember Patrick Seitz for because he's Ichigo's dad.
Yeah.
Good morning, Ichigo!
And then he just does the most bombastic attempts at waking him up, and Ichigo just counters by immediately subduing him.
I had an opportunity to get a bunch of Bleach manga that I passed on. And, you know, in some ways I kind of regret it, and on the other hand, I kind of don't, because I kind of fell out of love with Bleach after a while, and I don't really have anywhere else I can put it, honestly.
You know, the funny thing is, like, so, you ever heard of the former Channel Awesome reviewer, Y Ruler of Time?
I've heard the name. I have no clue who that might be.
He's a guy that reviews a bunch of manga, and even has, like, reviews of Bleach and Naruto on, that are things, and he, along with a bunch of other anime reviewers like Todd in the Shadows and Yezu Otaku before...
Todd in the Shadows reviewed anime?
No, they didn't review an anime, they reviewed The Last Airbender.
Oh.
As in, they all sat down, watched that movie, and reviewed it as they went along. And apparently when they were talking about the Blue Spirit, Todd suddenly... he chimes in going, "It's Zuko! Of course it's Zuko! Who the hell else could it be?" And they were like, oh, he suddenly cares now. And at one point in the review, he actually is like, so which one is Goku?
You know, at one point in time, Todd in the Shadows is one of the funniest guys on the internet. And he's just pissed all that away, unfortunately.
Like most people on the internet.
Like everyone from Channel Awesome, apparently.
Why? Why does cancel culture turn people into idiots?
Most importantly with Linkara, just why?
He blocks people just because they bring up the whole, oh, one time he fapped to the green M&M. I'm like, you did that.
I want more people to call him out for being childish. Just because I know that gets under his skin. And it's like... Come on, man, you've been doing this for what, 15 years almost? You should be able to...
Take some form of criticism.
Yeah. I can't be the first one who called him childish.
I'm sure you're not. And somehow I clipped through phone, Chan.
Huh.
I just go through her and it's like, whoop! So I don't have any keywords, so I have to go find somebody with an exclamation point over their head. Thanks to Mireille, who is my ever-faithful guide.
Somebody. You're gonna have to find somebody.
I don't know who this is, but hello. I really hope it's not that weirdo that keeps I really hope it's not that weirdo that keeps on randomly commenting on my videos and just being like, hey, you want to be a friend? I'm like, okay.
I ain't the sharpest tool on the shade.
She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming and they fed the rules and I hit the ground. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You never know if you don't go. You never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitter is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Okay, I have to wonder what were you doing in there with your with the shooting with the all-star?
I wasn't really going anywhere, or I just thought it would be funny.
Not my first playthrough, but this is a first playthrough in the sense that I'm not doing New Game Plus, because if I were doing New Game Plus, I think I would be steamrolling through things faster than Dio.
Holy diver, you've been down too long in the midnight sea.
Oh, what's becoming of me?
I don't know the rest of the words to this song.
I could look up the lyrics for Holy Diver.
Right now. No, don't. I know, but I don't know enough, and I don't know the notes well enough to sing it decently.
True.
Kevin, why am I looking at Gundam models on eBay?
I don't know. Why are you looking at Gundam models on eBay?
That's a good question. I don't know. I was hoping you'd have an answer.
Why were you looking at Gundam models? What were you doing? What were we doing that prompted you to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go look up Gundam models.
I don't really know. I'm not sure. I'm like, earlier when I was at the store, I was trying to find like a good Lego set to put together because I've been itching for something like that, but I guess that might be it, but Luke Skywalker lightsaber chopsticks. Now I've seen everything.
Hey, everything's gonna be a thing on the internet at some point.
Yeah.
So, I gotta tell you some interesting comments that I ended up reading from
from the aftermath of season 3 of Castlevania's premiere, most notably on the character of Lenore. It's like
Lenore.
It's like her shtick is that out of all of the sisters of Carmilla, she's the one who's supposed to be the diplomat of the group.
Okay.
And let's just say that as she is quite the sociopath, the way she talks to Hector is basically how a sociopath would manipulate someone into trusting them. Though Hector stupidly tries to, while beaten in a jail cell, buck naked, it tries to threaten to tear out her throat, and she's a vampire. Or mind you, he predictably gets his ass whooped.
Oh, you know, you just need to whip out the old wooden stake. I know he's got one.
He doesn't.
No, I know he's got one.
Oh my god. Oh my god. He does stab her with that though, but not in the right place. Yes, while Alucard ends up getting stuck in that threesome, he ends up having sex with her. And, well, she tricks him into putting on a ring that forcibly binds him to obey their every command.
In brightest day and blackest night. Fuck.
Oh, this is too funny. In brightest day, in blackest... Okay, so basically it's like she has him swear his loyalty to her in the throes of passion while they're doing the deed, and this ring is actually something that could cause a severe amount of pain should he even think of trying to disobey her. So, and sadly, the response to that whole scene was basically comparing Hector to a simp. In Curse of Darkness, he used to be a Chad. You know, someone who could thoroughly whoop Dracula's ass by himself.
You know what'd be neat is if he just like goes, fuck you, like you can't tell me what to do, and slaps her on the ass, that's with the hand with the ring on it.
She would actually be into that, considering that she's made him a sex slave.
You see, that's when you pull out the Uno reverse card.
He can't. It's like he can't take it off. Otherwise, that would also cause him pain. But I'm like, what if he just removes his finger?
I mean, couldn't you like take it off, and then once the ring's off, does it still cause pain?
I think so.
Well, okay.
And plus, she's given the other sisters rings as well that are also linked to the one on Hector's finger. Basically, if he disobeys any of them, then he is in severe pain.
I think he just needs to take a level in manliness and suck it the fuck up.
It's bad enough that he ends up getting jerked around by Carmilla throughout the majority of season 2 with their screen time together. And then he ends up getting collared by one of her servants, and he gets his ass kicked by Carmilla, whom, by the way, is a vampire.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's like her character design in that, I'm like, I'm not sure or if I would consider her as hot as her version in Judgment. That one time when she was voiced by Karen Strassman. And that one game where Maria Renard's character got utterly gutted in favor of this chick who has A-cup angst. And that's her only character.
Okay.
Which is so dumb. So I looked all over Kowloon level 1 and 2, talked to everybody, and nothing. I may have to ask Murray, okay, what now? Okay, that's a little too vague, lady. Let's go back. So, and apparently Hector in that series is voiced by Theo James as opposed to Crispin Freeman. Oh, there's the person there's a person I'm supposed to talk to. Hey, you, come here.
It's really weird because I've got your audio as it's actually happening, and I'm watching the stream, and that's a few seconds behind.
How does this even work? You know, funny enough, the actress I mentioned who voices Asuna in the Japanese version of Sword Art Online did sing the OP for, or the second arc of Sword Art Online 2.
Okay.
Interesting. And in terms of English covers, Erica Mendez, the voice of Yuki in SAO2, has done an English cover for Crossing Fields.
Oh, neat. I mean, I generally I don't think that song works that well in English, but you know, that's neat.
Mendez is a really good singer.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just that sometimes some of those songs don't work all that well in English.
That happens. And every time I try to tell out, and it's like I keep trying to convince you to watch Demon Slayer, and its dub is has Bryce Papenbrook in it as Inosuke, who's the guy with the boar's hide over his face.
Okay.
And he's playing, and with Inosuke, he's playing yet another character originally voiced by Yoshitsugu Matsuoka.
Interesting.
Whose Inosuke is surprisingly the most, I'm trying to think. The most against his normal type of voice is that he's had. Like, if you hear his voice, you swear it sounds like somebody else.
Yeah, that happens sometimes where you can't hardly tell who it is when you first listen to it. It's like, who is that?
And then,
that's that guy.
you know, I find it weird for Fire Emblem Heroes dub, they couldn't get Darren DePaul to voice, Duma. And it's like, so you couldn't get him to come back, but you end up getting, trying to think. And then they end up getting Patrick Seitz to voice Duma instead of Darren DePaul. And funny enough, Darren DePaul is also the voice of J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man PS4 game.
I want pictures of Spider-Man on my desk by this Monday, Parker.
He posts pictures of himself. He puts pictures of himself on there. I sent pictures of Spider-Man, damn it, not you. That was... Okay, so I know you don't like MCU Spider-Man, but I did love that suddenly we have J.K. Simmons reprising the best role he's ever done in his career, in my opinion.
Oh, I like getting Simmons back. I just don't like the fact that he's kind of an Alex Jones knockoff, because
Well, consider the fact that it's like they were trying to just like, you know, frick. What would be a proper term to come up for this kind of scenario? Because modernize and make Spider-Man and, you know, kinda sorta a millennial. Because
he's not millennial, he's Gen Z, he's a fucking Zoomer. My generation refuses to claim him.
My generation has claimed that at least Tom Holland has a better ass than Brie Larson.
You know what? You're not wrong.
And he at least actually likes playing. And at least he actually tries to play a character and not an insert for yourself. God damn it, Larson. Because it's like, I could separate art from the artist, but when the art is only just the artist with nothing else in there, then what am I supposed to work with?
You know, even Chronicles of Riddick, which was, you know, produced by Vin Diesel, you know, the whole franchise, was produced by Vin Diesel. He's got like a hand in some of the writing too, and his company developed the video games and things like that. Even that's not directly a self-insert. Riddick is an actual character.
It's almost like Vin Diesel actually knows how not to insert himself into characters.
Yeah, it's almost like you could possibly maybe not pull a latter day, what's his name? Steven Seagal. It's almost like you could not pull a latter day Steven Seagal pull on things, you know? It's possible.
Yes,
you don't have to make every character an overpowered sort of OC Do Not Steal.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, you know, that ain't even... Good God, that ain't even...
I say a vaguely sour smell, and she just turns away. She just slowly
She just slowly pushes herself away.
Slowly turn away.
And in terms of JoJo actors, we also, besides Pappenbrook, we also have Zach Aguilar as main character, or Tanjiro, in Demon Slayer.
Okay.
And he's actually been turning in some pretty good performances. I liked him as Koichi, and I've kind of enjoyed him as Tanjiro. And now I earn my Falcomon into Peckmon.
Goes from cute looking kid to badass looking teenager. He still doesn't have arms.
This is still not something new for Digimon. You gotta remember that. This is just an average day.
Digivolution isn't permanent in Digimon, is it?
No.
Okay.
Unlike Pokemon, they can and de-evolve back into the forms they used to be. I'm Sunomon. No, you're Gabumon. I'm Sunomon. No, you're Gabumon. Don't worry, Agumon and Gabumon, we're here to save you. Did daylight saving time catch you off guard?
It was 1 o'clock, 1:10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 58, 59. Then it was 3 o'clock.
So yes, it did catch you off guard.
Yes.
If it wasn't for the fact that my phone and laptop automatically adjust to it, then, and you know.
Yeah. My, I haven't touched my alarm clock in probably about a year now.
Ooh, a black
time.
Gatomon. Ouch! Get stomped. You know what's kind of funny?
What?
So apparently the guy who voices oh, hi Jimmy Ken.
Oh, hi, Jimmy Ken.
This guy's the Kiss knockoff that we were talking about last part.
Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me.
You'd sadly be a better singer than Jimmy Ken's voice actor.
You, baby, can you get enough of me? Yeah, I have throat congestion right now. I'm sitting down at an angle, and I've never been professionally trained to sing, so.
Neither have I, but even I know how to do some notes. The lols. Just why? 2016, you were strange.
No, I'm not picking up what you're putting down. I don't want to pick up anything you're putting down. Stop saying lols.
Oh, great. Now I'm fighting him. He's got a Digimon and 2 Miramon. Digimon being the first antagonist of the Digimon franchise, as at least in terms of the anime. Ouch.
Oh, did you see that Reggie Fils-Aimé became the chairman or the board of director? He's on the board of directors of GameStop.
Really? Now?
Yeah.
This is embarrassing. Wait, why did I target it? Damn it! So yeah, this is probably... So yeah, this guy is gonna show that it's gonna get harder after a while. Because this charming fellow is gonna have data types. And next time we face him, he's going to have more than... He's gonna have more than 2. He's gonna have 3. So we're gonna need virus types. Heal! Oh great, they're charging up their attack. Do 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 do. Enough. You know, perhaps in hindsight, maybe making an attack that requires 5 minutes of charging was probably not a good idea.
You know, perhaps in hindsight, making an attack that requires 5 minutes of charging was probably not a good idea.
A Piccolo, help! I find it hilarious that Goku ends up holding a grudge against Piccolo. Oh, in the Namek Saga, and Piccolo's
Did you
like,
just hold a grudge?
well, looks like I might actually win this boss fight. Lucky me.
Phew. Dead. I'm not going to be able to get away with doing something like this next time we meet him, so before I meet him again, we're going to need to do some grinding. Ooh,
I don't
roasted.
know why I said that for grinding, but
But if we're tuning, then where are the synchro? Then where are the synchrons? I know they're not talking about 5D synchron on Intuner monsters. I was just making a joke. Like, have you ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds?
I've seen like the first few episodes, read a bunch of manga.
Card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles!
What the hell is a motorcycle? You're kidding me, right? Hey, Crow, do you know what a motorcycle is? Can't say that I do, Jack. But we ride them all the time. It's our trademark. Why would we do that? So we could play card games on them. That sounds stupid. Jack, you're scaring me. Come on, Crow. Let's go play a card game while standing completely still on the ground. No! Oh, thank God. You know, Logan Laidlaw, the guy I keep citing that you kind of sound like, is you saying that a parody. You even sound like his you say.
To this city!
To the past. Oh, but I also had an orgasm. Ew.
Oh, dear Sam! Yeah, it's a bit too much like Joey Wheeler, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Faye. This Faye is a character that we don't really get enough insight in this game, but we get a bit of insight in the Gaiden game attached to this.
No, that's.
Oh, crap, he left. Oh, wow.
私は何もしてなかったりして、俺ならこの子にありがとう。それにしてもここやばいよ。とりあえず離れよう。ここまで戻ればさすがに大丈夫よね。アグモンガブモン無事でよかった。
俺たちももう一度会いたいなって思って、そしたらあの怖い人たちに見つかって追いかけられて、
危ないところだったよ。あんなのに捕まってたら今頃僕たちは。ねえ、あのさ、私にはまだよく分かってないんだけど、君たちデジモンって確かハッカーが作ったプログラムに。僕たちが
人間に作られた。どうしたの？私デジモンに受けるようなギャグ言った？
I have no earthly clue why my PS4 decided it was a great idea to turn off just then, but
I was wondering.
One would think that it would be, set up to detect microphone input as a form of input on the power save settings, but
apparently not.
Yeah, I guess
ちゃんと生きてるって気が。
あのね
I
ノキア
guess I'm just gonna have to turn that off entirely.
俺たちは
Oh
人間の
dear.
世界とは違う世界から来たんだよ。
違う世界？
デジタルワールドっていう世界で。
The digital world? Sounds like a weird isekai world.
何かが起きて。
A world that that was full of imagination.
Isekai monsters.
They are an isekai anime. Sad thing is, they've been the most creative with it, as it was not only a Monster of the Week series, but it was also an isekai.
僕たちはデジタル空間でしか。
And the digital world, they could just make up whatever they want, just because, you know, it doesn't have to make sense.
ほとんどが人間の手で、そういう意味では人間が作ったプログラムと見分けがつかないかもだ。
わかったな。
Sadly, Agumon has that same weird, screechy Japanese woman voice issue that most mascot.
この世界で
Sadly, every time I hear Agumon's Japanese voice, I always think Meowth.
やるべきこと。
Yeah,
それって
it's
何？
like
あれ？言っちゃいけない系。そうじゃ。
No, they're not here to take over the world, Nokia. That would be weird.
どうしても思い出せないんだ。
Though there are some Digimon that may consider that a possibility.
も大切なことだったはずなのに。
俺たちは何をするためにこの世界へ来たんだろう。
How convenient that these two had forgotten why they're here.
アグモン、ガブモン。
So, why are we here?
大丈夫だって。
You know, that's almost close to how Kirk Thornton sounds as Gabumon.
出せるので一緒に頑張ろう。
No, I mean, why are we here? Specifically.
Indeed. What were you doing at Red versus Blue?
Yeah. I'm gonna stop because I don't know anything after that.
Yeah.
そうだな。
It's weird that that show used to be good, but now it's just like,
You wanna
yeah.
know what happened? I found a copy of like the last, whatever the most recent season of it was, at the dollar store on Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been waiting for them to get the Ruby volumes.
Interesting.
Because I know it's possible. They got a bunch of Rooster Teeth and related Cinedigm stuff there. Like they've got, they had Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon too.
本来ならば直ちに新宿で怪事件が警察が本格的に。
聞こえてありがとう。なんだか大変そうだけど、君も。
Recently, the trailer for Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11 dropped.
Oh, nice.
Keith David voices him.
Awesome.
We could take down the 10 hells together, only if you follow my lead. With all due respect, that's not in the cards. That was his exchange with Scorpion. I'm like, I would have been fine even if they didn't get Keith David, but it was such a plus having him in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he still sounds as smooth and badass as usual. Because, let's be real here, it's Keith David. When doesn't he sound smooth and badass?
Hardly ever, honestly.
And now we get to more plot. Because apparently we're not allowed to do side questing. Seems Kyoko has gotten irritated at me doing side questing and said, hey, go do plot. And I'm just like,
Okay, but wouldn't you want me to solve cases? No, go do plot. Or as... Oh, look! Something besides Kowloon to travel through. Oh, hello, Emo McEmo Man.
Don't you mean Shadow the Hedgehog?
I found you, faker. Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog. You're comparing yourself to me? Ha! You're not even good enough to be my fake. I'll make you eat those words. You won't even get the chance.
I am Shadow the Hedgehog.
There's no time for games. Farewell. Ugh. Shadow. What is he? Don't move. Keep your Stay where you are. Keep your hands up in the air. Not again. For once I'm with the Emo Man, we should probably leave before she tries to kick our asses. They kind of had to change his backstory to make sense of his involvement in the Gaiden game. Because a lot of weird things happen with Arata here, but not until like later in the game. And now we get an entirely different dungeon design. Behold.
Oh my god, it's a completely different kind of transparent static.
I knew that was going to probably be your reaction. Trying to keep my mic away from my nose because that's where it feels like I've had this problem with a lot of heavy breathing. Yeah, but it's like, it seems barely noticeable when I'm talking into it, but when I actually hear myself on the stream, even then I'm like, oh my god, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure how sensitive my mic is.
What kind of mic you got?
It's an office headset that my dad got for me.
Okay.
And now my Sunomon is at maximum level. What an odd question to ask. Yep, and now Arata gets to be a party member. And yes, we're using a telephone booth to transport ourselves to Mirei's lab.
What is this, the 70s?
And now I get to turn him into Gabumon! I see Betamon, and I'm sure, or that you would think a certain. Yep, saw that coming a mile away.
I wonder what his favorite word is.
I swear, it's like the way that man talks. I'm like, could you be any more of a beta male? He tries to come off as this big badass alpha, but he just
See, the thing is, you gotta be. You can't try at something like that. It's something you gotta come at naturally. Like, oh yeah, Dan Green. Dan Green just sort of naturally has that gravitas to him.
Speaking of which, Dan Green did voice Mewtwo in the remake of the first Pokemon movie.
You know, the animation of that looks kinda weird. I think I might only watch it for certain assets.
You know, I did make the mistake of sitting through it once just to see how it was, and I'm just like, it's bad, but not nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It's kind of meh. Like, people, there are worse movies. There's worse movies out there.
Does Jesse's butt at least look good in the movie?
I don't know. We don't really get any ass shots.
Oh, god damn it.
Also, we don't have Minnesota Vikings.
What?
We don't have the Minnesota Vikings line. Nor are they dressed up as Vikings when they escort Ash and Co.
Oh, right.
But then again, it would be weird to have a Viking canoe. Then again, it would be weird to have a Viking canoe in a raging thunderstorm while waves are going nuts.
Yeah, no shit. I forgot that was in that.
I didn't know there were still Vikings around. They mostly live in Minnesota.
Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
Sadly, the soundtrack in the remake, I'm like, is it bad that I miss the 4Kids music as stupidly on the nose as it was? It was at least, you know, decent sounding and not generic trash. Like, it's like you know how the current Pokemon movies have been using the Japanese soundtrack for the dub release?
Yeah.
Basically, they've still been doing that.
Speaking of which, have they, did they stop doing, I thought that they... What's up with the new Pokemon dubs, anyways? Are they edited the way the old ones were, or are they just different?
Some parts are still edited.
Okay, so do they use new music, or do they still have the original?
They still have the original soundtrack. It's just for the intro, and some of the insert songs, they did have to change that.
Yeah.
So that's what they've been doing.
Okay.
Sadly, the dub up for X and Y kind of sucks.
I'm not surprised, honestly, that it hasn't been that great since they fired the original cast.
Well, considering the fact that 4Kids is effectively bankrupt, they can't dub anything nowadays.
Well, it's still done an NYAV post, though.
Yeah, it's still done an NYAV post, but for the current dub, which is the Pokemon Company, it's done with a different set of actors.
Yeah. And it's distributed by Viz, too.
Which explains why they could somehow get Todd Haberkorn and J. Michael Tatum in there. Oh, and Vic was also in the dub of the 15th Pokemon movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Caitlin Glass was in the first X and Y movie.
I've not kept up with Pokemon since. I haven't actively kept up with it since probably around the time they changed Ash's hat.
So around Advanced Generation.
Yeah, and I've sort of been off and on paying attention to like little bits in the background. And now the movies are just kind of... I remember when those movies were such a big thing. Pokemon, the first movie. Pokemon in 2000.
Pokemon Movie 1... And in hindsight, Pokemon Movie 1 did not age well in terms of its story. It felt like it was,
maybe.
There were some aspects that were okay about it, but when you look back on it, you realize that it's kind of dumb. Like, especially how Ash still comes back to life through Pokemon crying over it. I'm like, wouldn't it have been more effective if Mewtwo, seeing their tears, just did it himself?
Yeah. That was kind of stupid.
Yes. It was stupid. Pokemon aren't meant to fight. Not like this.
It's just that they were such a big thing at one point in time. And now they're just nothing.
Now it's like hardly anybody watches Pokemon, especially on TV, due to the fact that Cartoon Network just lost the rights to broadcasting Pokemon.
What the hell?
Yeah, then it got done by Disney XD. I'm not making that up. I'm not making that up. I feel like the longer we keep this up, the more your mental state just keeps deteriorating.
Kind of, yeah.
And we're not even talking about the game. This charming fellow here is Pseudo. Oh, he's basically a scientist who wants to research on all the happenings with these eaters.
I can tell he is because of the bags under his eyes.
You can't tell just by the suit and the lab coat?
The suit? No. The lab coat, well, that kind of looks like an overcoat.
Okay, it's more of an overcoat then.
Weren't we gonna talk about something?
We were pretty much talking about how, like, Pokemon, on how it's just like nowadays they're just really doing weird stuff.
Yeah, Pokemon. Okay, Pokemon is basically kind of like a reflex these days. They keep making it because they can't stop making it, and people sometimes watch it just to see if it's still there.
And you know, the funny thing is they're doing the Sword and Shield anime, but they're calling it just Pokemon as though it were a soft reboot, but it's not. And Ash's current team consists of, besides his Pikachu, a Mr. Mime, a Dragonite, and a Gengar.
What the fuck?
I'm not making that up.
I don't doubt it. If we wanted like a G1 dragon, bring back Charizard.
Ash's Charizard is at Oak's place.
Everybody loves Charizard.
Except for some of the people that think he's severely overrated. I personally prefer Cyndaquil the Typhlosion, but we never got Typhlosion, did we?
Specifically, I mean like Ash's. Ash's Charizard is like,
Yeah.
he has a story, he has history. It seems like, you know, Ash might want him to stick around with him, you know?
Yeah, but then he had
Saved
to.
him from
Yeah, but that. And honestly, it was a lot more heartbreaking when Ash had to leave Charizard at Charizardrific Valley just to train. That was sad. I was like,
How many of Ash's Pokemon have we just never seen? Again, after he left them behind.
that depends. Does he actually remember most of them?
I'll bet you could ask modern Pokemon writers, hey, you remember what happened with, like, I don't know, like Butterfree or, his, I think it was Hitmonchan?
No, he didn't have a Hitmonchan. He had a Primate.
Primate, okay. Remember what happened with those guys? And they'd be like, who?
Considering it's been nearly 1,000 episodes, yeah. They probably never or watched. They probably never
like,
watched G1.
With it being where it is, they're probably at the same position Doctor Who is right now.
Oh, you mean in being the wokest BS?
No, I mean in people in charge of it who have no fucking clue what the history of the show is.
And now my dog is trying to scratch herself while struggling to stand up. Come here, Bebdell. She's an old-timer. Bella? Hold on 1 second. Okay, so anyway, I've even also played like Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it was okay, but tell me, do you like kaiju?
That kind of depends, yes, and also not really.
Well, you get basically kaiju battles in that game.
Oh, that's the thing where they make them giant, right?
Yep.
Oh no. I mean, that's a cool idea in concept, but you shouldn't introduce stuff like that because it's just kind of dumb.
Ooh, I got another memory up.
Maybe if you had, like, giant-sized Pokemon rather than making Pokemon giant, you know?
We had Wailord and, Groudon. Two of the biggest Pokemon out there.
Did you hear about what happened with, the season finale of Doctor Who?
No.
You want me to explain it?
Sure.
Wait a second. What's that thing with the wings?
That's Kabuterimon.
Kabuterimon. Okay.
He's an insect-type Digimon.
Kabuterimon. Rare form Tentomon. I have a figure of that, except it's not just purple. I think it has more wings.
I think you're talking Mega Kabuterimon.
No, I know exactly what it is. I have a Kamari, Chimeramon. I have a Chimeramon, which looks very similar with the same kind of hat thing, but is different.
Ah, okay.
I actually found it inside a Pokeball, I think.
A Digimon in a Pokeball. Kind of reminded me of that one time when Death Battle had Red try to catch Edge Agumon.
Yeah. Okay. So the last episode of the most recent season of Doctor Who, whatever it was. And unfortunately, I haven't been watching it, or fortunately, considering what we found out. Oh, hey, Freddy Fazbear.
Neat.
I guess fortunately, considering, because, like, I left off at the end of Capaldi's last season, and I still haven't seen Twice Upon a Time. And, it was just kind of getting to a point where I didn't care anymore. You know, Season 9 was garbage up until, like, the very end. Season 10 was a mess. And I guess they're on, like, Season 12 or 13 now? I don't know. But whatever the most recent season finale was, they revealed in the course of this season that... Okay, you know they have the woman doctor, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, she's irritating as fuck.
Hold on one sec. I gotta go check on something. I'll be right back.
Okay. Kabuterimon.
You know, the Bridge series had Tentomon, and his forms refer to themselves as Tentobuzz or Kabuteribuzz, as though to give like a speech quirk. Ooh, it's a big scary ghost. I can't read digicode.
Yeah, it is meant to be Kabuterimon. And I was thinking, was that supposed to be Gabuterimon? Because Gabu is like a onomatopoeia for
Oh god, it's an eater. That is one of the main antagonists of the series. These corrupted creatures known as eaters.
Okay.
It's like a Cthulhu abomination.
Well, you know, it's almost like you didn't have to have two versions of each model on the page at the same time. You could have just animated the ones that were out there.
Is this a reference to this game or what?
I was looking at that, and they had they brought the dialogue box up, and they had the characters underneath the dialogue box on top of the scene. And I'm just thinking, boy, you could have saved a lot of time just by rendering one copy of each of these. Okay, so what's going on with Doctor Who is that they have Jodie Whittaker, who was in Broadchurch with David Tennant as the Doctor, and apparently she's not really that familiar with Doctor Who, and it kind of shows.
That explains too much.
And they also have, because David Tennant was a big fan of Doctor Who, knows the show inside and out. He was actually in Doctor Who before he was the Doctor. He did a voice in one of the short animated things from like 1999, I think. But it was something like that. Anyways, Chris Chibnall is the showrunner, head writer. And he apparently doesn't actually give a fuck about anything.
Well, that explains why it isn't being received all that well.
Yeah, have you ever watched Torchwood?
No.
Okay. He wrote several episodes of Torchwood, including Cyberwoman, which is known as one of the first episodes of Torchwood, and Countryside, which was the episode that got me to stop watching Torchwood.
Oh dear. I'm still getting tweets about Castlevania Season 3, and they're saying, like, so after Season 3 of Castlevania, who wants to give Alucard a hug?
He also wrote Day 1, which was the second episode of Torchwood, which was where you start realizing that the episode, that the series might be kind of going off the rails. It's not good when the second episode is just going off the rails like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, just allow me to read this off of the Wikipedia page for...
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Torchwood. The sex gas takes over Karis's body. That's all you need to know about that episode.
And she does weird things, I presume.
But, Chris Chibnall wrote a bunch of episodes in the most recent season of Doctor Who, which are, it's the 12th season. So, a bunch of episodes in the 12th season of Doctor Who, which completely and utterly break canon.
Of course they do.
He forgot that the Time Lords have a respiratory bypass system, which allows them like 5-10 minutes of air in a vacuum. Okay, it's like 5 minutes in a vacuum, 10 minutes in like low air. It's fairly well explained and was established very far back, and has been used as recently as like the previous Doctor, I believe. So it's kind of inexcusable.
Sure, Kyoko, you only know a little bit about the digital world. As if I buy that.
She's just sitting there in that lab coat that doesn't actually cover anything.
Yeah, it's almost like she doesn't really understand certain human concepts like modesty. It's almost
got like a pencil miniskirt on too.
It's almost like she's not actually really a person. Okay, like I said, how much do you care about spoilers?
I'm not gonna play this game.
Even though I would recommend it, it's really good.
I mean, I'm
君と連絡が取れなかった時間を有意義に活用してね。あ、君が成果をご苦労様。
Yeah, I got a friend with a huge gaming backlog.
君はコーヒーとヨーグルトと海苔の佃煮が。
I should take you on like a virtual tour of my game room one of these days.
And now I gotta save again.
The miraculous harmony of coffee, yogurt, and what the fuck?
Like I said, she's not actually human. She is actually... It is actually a Digimon using her body as a vessel.
Interesting.
Specifically, Alphamon of the Royal Knights.
Huh.
Her car is supposed to be like the first hint to that.
Okay.
It's a black and yellow. It's got a black and yellow color scheme.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Anyways, that's not the end of where Chris Chibnall's fuck-ups with Doctor Who. Why, so... You know how there's been, like, other Doctors before?
Yep.
The most recent ones, right? Okay. So Doctor Who is a series that goes back, almost 60 years now. 1963, so in 3 years, Doctor Who will have been going for like 60 years. Not continuously, but in various forms. In various ways, shapes, and forms for about 60 years now. And in the very first episode, the TARDIS wound up getting stuck as a police box, which is why it looks the way it does.
That sounds dumb.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the chameleon circuit on that model of TARDIS. Very specifically, that model of TARDIS. The one that he stole in the very first episode. And, and that's the first Doctor. Chris Chibnall apparently forgot that William Hartnell was the first Doctor because, in season 12, we find out that there was an incarnation of the Doctor that came before Hartnell. A black woman who has a TARDIS that is a police box.
That seems a bit convenient.
And it gets worse, because not only does that completely break the regeneration rules and regeneration cycle and all of that shit, apparently the Doctor is just some entity that was spat out by the time vortex and found by somebody from Gallifrey, and coincidentally, and was apparently a little girl also.
At what point? At what point am I? At what point? In this series was I supposed to be? Was I supposed to believe that? At what point, in this continuity specifically, was I supposed to be convinced that it all made sense?
I'm not sure. The thing that happens is that there's this child that's spat out by the time vortex that's found by somebody from Gallifrey. And then, they just don't keep a very good eye on the child, and she falls down a cliff and is fine because she turns into somebody else. And, that's how Time Lords got their regeneration and all that. And, the Doctor is this person and was apparently brainwashed to not remember, and, has infinite regenerations because she's the original Time Lord. But that completely contradicts the fact that we saw Baby Doctor, and he wasn't a little black girl, he was a white boy.
It's almost like they're breaking canon just to serve some kind of ridiculous agenda.
Almost, yeah. Oh yeah, and we also I will remind people, there was a statement in the final episode of Eleven's run where he said he was on his last regeneration and he had to get more regenerations from the Time Lord. And the thing is, that already broke canon because River Song gave him the rest of her regenerations, which would have been at least 2.
Jesus Christ.
And the Valiard is supposed to come between his like 11th and final incarnation, and so they already fucked that up.
My word. This
But
is...
the thing is, the Valiard could have been John Hurt, but they fucked that up because John Hurt took over the position that Christopher Eccleston was supposed to have in the Day of the Doctor.
It's almost like this is just one giant retcon turducken. Almost like how they had to try to explain in the Maximoff twins without including Magneto.
I'm still mad.
Well, don't forget the comic. Well, don't forget the comics. Don't forget the comics were responsible for that retcon. On the MCU, just kind of rolled with that.
Well, they did it in the comics so they could have them in the MCU.
And I'm just like...
Anyways, like I said, I'm still kind of mad about that. I'm still mad about everything that happened in Age of Ultron, honestly, because Age of Ultron pissed so much down that entire freaking everything they did with the characters, except for Steve lifting Thor's hammer, was fucked up.
I mean, Steve, of course, could have easily lifted it to show that he could, but he chose not to. Just because he's such a gosh darn good friend. And to Thor.
And you know something else I'm mad at? Fat Thor. Fat Thor.
My mom loves Fat Thor, apparently.
Fat Thor is such a stupid concept. He should have been swoller than he was when he was in the Avengers. He should have been like doing the One Punch Man workout so that he could never fail like he did in Infinity War.
My only attempt at justification at that is people don't always cope with grief the same way.
Yeah, but the problem is it was so easy for me to predict, because as soon as I saw him munching on that roll at the start of Endgame, I thought he's gonna be fat, isn't he?
Did you really predict it from that far that early on?
Oh my fucking god, dude, you should... If one of these days you should get me to watch like a twisty-turny movie I have never seen and have never heard from. So, just so I can call all the stuff ahead of time.
You know, one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen on Twitter is that someone ended up finding that the My Hero Academia movie that just came out in theaters is on Pornhub, dubbed. And I'm like, and in HD quality too. And I'm like, why?
Well, in my experience, Pornhub is significantly decent for not taking down stuff for copyright.
Yeah, but it's Pornhub.
Well, yeah, but I got 1.4 thousand views on Alternative Saga Episode 1.
Not surprised.
On Pornhub alone, I have over 3,000 views.
You know, nowadays it looks like they're gearing up to have a Ninja Turtles reunion, because even in the original voice of Donatello and Michelangelo are going to be at Kineticon.
Oh, neat.
So, I'm guessing next up is Rob Paulson. They'd want to do a Ninja Turtles panel, don't they?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in a half shell, turtle power. I still want to make it in my life's mission to meet Clifford Chapin one day. Like, let's just say that a lot of people have been giving him quite a bit of praise for Bakugo in Hiroaka, especially after the movie.
Okay.
Like at least with the My Hero.
Holy shit, this guy's been in a lot of stuff.
Who?
Cliff Chapin.
Yeah, he's even ADR directed a lot of stuff too.
Oh, he played Kaworu in the Netflix David dub. To hell with him.
Hey, at least, could be he had a bad script to work with. He's done better.
I'm kidding.
I would hope so, because not everyone in that dub is garbage. It's just that script in its entirety was garbage.
Although I will say I have no respect for Casey, whatever her name is.
Casey Mongillo, who identifies as a them, not as either gender, unfortunately. So,
what the fuck? I'm looking at her picture right here. I'm just gonna call her because it looks like a her. That looks like if you took like Frisk from Undertale and fused them with Shinji from Ava. How the fuck? How does one person look like this?
Life finds a way, I guess. Yes, I'm going to quote that Jeff Goldblum meme.
Yeah.
Because Jeff Goldblum is still the best thing about Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there, and he was criminally underused.
Actually, I think there should have been like a balance between him and Cate Blanchett, because I love Blanchett.
No. Fuck that. We need two different movies for this, so that we can actually have each of those villains do their own thing. You know? Like we used to say back in the day, back when stuff like, I don't know, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Fantastic Four 2, I'm sure there were others. Just maybe just let each villain have their own movie, You don't have to shove 3 villains into one movie. You don't have to shove 2 villains into one movie. But they had 3 villains in Thor Ragnarok. They had Flamey What's-His-Face. They had
Surtur.
Cate Blanchett. Yeah, Surtur.
Surtur, Hela, and the Grandmaster.
The Grandmaster, whatever. Yeah. I thought the Collector was somebody else, right?
Collector was Benicio del Toro's character.
Okay, yeah. It's similar makeup, so I get it confused in my head.
Yeah, some people. And funny thing is that the Collector and the Grandmaster are trying to think.
Yeah,
are two the entities that have held the that have kept a tight grip on the Infinity Stones until Thanos decided to finally do his thing in Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
I like him better more as a rationalist than I do as a romanticist, because as a romanticist, can't this dude get the hint already? She's manipulating him. She doesn't like him.
Casey Mangiello's website links to a Facebook page that doesn't exist.
And then there's also the fact that they were the voice of that character from Tome. What's its face? Basically, is that shadow character that ended up serving a bit of a purpose in the plot later on in the story.
You know, I've never shied away from the fact that I don't like it when middle-aged women voice little boys. I've never liked that. I don't think I can ever find it in myself to say that's acceptable. I especially
even my
don't
mom,
like it when they...
even my mom has difficulty with that whole shindig.
Yeah. So,
which is kind of what makes me thankful that at least later in the Japanese version of the Digimon Adventure, starting with Tai is voiced by a guy. I am both Japanese and the English dub, but the thing is that Izzy in the English and Japanese is still voiced by a woman.
Kind of like Naruto.
Yeah, except Mona Marshall can do it way better.
Well, my problem is when you get like middle-aged or 30-something women to play male characters, most of the time it doesn't sound that great. And the thing about Casey Mangiello is that 90% of the time she's not actually trying to sound like a 14-year-old boy. She sounds like a 30-something woman.
Yeah. And then we have Carrie Keranen as Misato.
She's the voice director too.
That's the worst part, and of course it's like she's been having a bit of meltdown on Twitter, due to the fact that not a lot of people, even Tiffany Grant, doesn't like her dub of Ava.
Nobody fucking does. And the thing is, part of it's not her fault, part of it certainly is. The writing is atrocious. It's Big Green meets the Speedy dub.
Let that child alone.
No, yeah, it's still wrong. That is a literal quote from the Speedy dub. Say up, people! That is a literal line. Something that they keep saying in the Speedy dub, by the way. And, I keep coming back to this. He is the third children. He is the third children is not just something that the subtitles say. Ritsuko actually says that out loud in English.
Does Ritsuko sound better voiced by Colleen Clinkenbeard in the movies?
Significantly, but honestly, I think my personal preference is it's either... I gotta look her up, because I can't remember.
Caspar betrayed me! Why would you pick your lover over me?
Clinkenbeard did a hell of a job in Rebuild. I kind of like Suulu's, but it's a bit
I didn't like her.
It's not as. It's. I wouldn't say. I mean, let's see. I wouldn't say that it's terrible, but the thing is, it's better than Erica Lindbeck's, and
Lindbeck did a better job in the end of Ava. Though I'm mostly saying that due to the fact that I was not a big fan of like the way the original delivered her last word.
Yeah, that.
Why would you betray you? Why would you side with your own lover over me?
Let me see here.
Like, she doesn't even sound all that shocked. She just sounds salty.
EOE, AWL, Amanda Wynn Lee, she was the ADR director for EOE, right?
Yeah.
That's got her fingerprints all over it. She is not good at that kind of thing. And
that's
honestly,
why she's not allowed to touch Ava with a 39.5-foot pole.
Honestly, though, and I know this sounds a little biased, if I had to pick, like, my absolute favorite, it would definitely be Olivia Steele from Alternative Saga, because Olivia is incredibly talented. At one point in time, we were actually she was supposed to be in a video game some friends of mine and I were making, and I was really disappointed that we didn't get to actually get to a point where we were recording it, because she is immensely talented. She takes direction incredibly well, and fun fact, I actually screwed up and we didn't record part of Ritsuko's lines, and she recorded them on her own, and it was exactly as I would have directed it.
Nice. So, speaking of rebuilt Old's dub, any thoughts on John Swayze as Gendo?
You know, it's not so much him as Gendo that I have a problem with, quite as much as it is that I just really... I don't like Kent Williams as Fuyutsuki. He sounds too much like Gendo.
Funny enough, him and John Swayze do sound eerily similar to each other, hence why...
They sound practically identical in Rebuild.
Sad thing is, that's kind of probably why they were cast together in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Swayze is Hohenheim and Kent Williams is father.
Yeah. Well, in, let's see. In Alternative Saga,
I gave Gendo this a deep, fatherly voice, and it obviously sounds a lot like a Takahato 101 voice.
And Kelly, my friend Kelly Hall, who also helps me with writing problems when I have them, he does Fuyutsuki as kind of like this sort of sophisticated military man type. And I can't do the voice the way he does because it doesn't have a British accent, and I'm absolutely not doing it any kind of justice.
Right.
But I specifically made them sound as different as possible.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because I was so irritated by that, because in the original dub, Gendo sounded, had a much deeper, commanding voice. And then they brought it up a bit.
And John Swayze had voiced Gendo in the director's cut of Ava before he did the Rebuild movies.
Yeah. That wasn't quite as bad a recasting, because you can still kind of definitely... You can definitely tell it's still the same character. it's not quite what you get when you have Phil Parsons. No, not Phil Parsons.
Funny enough, Swayze also voices All for One in My Hero Academia, and he's Sir Crocodile in One Piece. Sounding a little similar to the voice actor for Harvey Dent in Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, here it is. I think it was Keith Burgess. Yeah, so Keith Burgess played Hyuga, and he sounds entirely different in the movies. Brian Granvelt played Hyuga in the original, and then when it came time to do the movies, it just sounds entirely different.
Interesting.
And the version that I do is pretty much exactly apparently Matt Greenfield and Brian Granvelt are the same guy. I didn't know that.
You know, Justin Cook voices the character that Bosch voices in the Netflix dub of Ava in the Rebuild films.
Okay. Yeah, my Hyuga is a direct impression of Brian Granvelt's Hyuga. Good thing is, though, Funimation bought the rights to all 4 Ava films. As much as I don't like Funimation right now, they bought the rights to all 4.
But
Ava
we
films,
don't.
So
but remember, they botched up the dubbing for the 3rd Ava movie, so they had to redo it for the home release.
They didn't botch it so much as the Japanese. The story goes that they were showing it at a convention ahead of time, and some of the Japanese staff were there, and they didn't quite understand American audiences, because American audiences are full of energy. And they thought that people were like making fun of the movie when they were having all that energy, so they sent it back to go redo it, and not all of it was redone. A bunch of it is. Funimation did kind of screw up because they didn't explain themselves very well when the whole thing went down, and then Kara overreacted insanely, and they just kind of screwed the pooch from then on out. And that's probably why Netflix Ava exists the way it does.
Though hopefully they're not the ones that end up doing. Hopefully the Netflix dub isn't the one that ends up doing it.
No, they will not be. Funimation has the exclusive rights to all 4 Rebuild movies. They unless something seriously weird happens. Unless something serious happens in the rights regards, Funimation will be doing 4.44 or 3.33 plus 1.11 or whatever the fuck it's going to be called.
And did you have any thoughts on Jerry Jewell as Kaoru?
Close enough, I guess.
He sounds creepy.
Yeah.
But then again, Kaoru does kind of have that creepy vibe to him.
Yeah. Oh, that was exactly what I was going for with Kaoru in my version, because
he just shows up out of nowhere and Shinji's like, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah, he's just like, he rises up out of the bathtub and just starts spouting nonsense, and she turns and looks at him like, "Excuse me, who are you?"
That was definitely hilarious.
And the thing is, both of those characters were originally going to be voiced by me, but I couldn't hold on to the Shinji voice for very long because I have a naturally deep baritone voice.
Sadly, I could do tenor and baritone.
Yeah.
And yet
my
I end up,
singing,
and yet
yeah.
you hear my voice for Bobbity, and then it's just strange, really. I was hoping to get more energy, but it didn't work out. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream.
Okay.
Because
I just want to finish saying what I was saying before you do that. The original voice for Kaoru, it was going to be me doing a Connor McLeod impression. In the end, there could be only one. But the thing is, that didn't sound quite right. And
I can certainly tell it doesn't sound all that right.
No, and I found that Kelly did a much better, creepier version of it, and this just sounded kind of ridiculous.
Eh, it happens.
And if everything sounds ridiculous, the stuff that's supposed to be doesn't get quite the same impact. You know?
Why? Okay, so one other question is like, so why? Hold on, I'm just gonna end the stream and then we'll just talk privately on that. All right.